Senator Marco Rubio of Miami took the Senate floor today looking back at his first year in Washington and outlining his priorities for 2012.
He may be a new face in Congress, but Rubio certainly made his presence known in 2011. Our senior political reporter Michael Putney is right here with a look at what the senator had to say today.
And it was a darn good speech, I thought, for a freshman senator, even a veteran senator. Marco Rubio was today by turns reflective and fiery, personal and policy-driven in his remarks on his first anniversary as a U.S. Senator.
And just takes my breath away that I actually get to work here on behalf of the people of the state of Florida. Mr. President.
Senator from Florida.
Marco Rubio says he's privileged to serve in the U.S. Senate. He just wishes they'd speed things up.
And I hope there's a sense of urgency about that, about the fact that our economy is now smaller than our debt. $15 trillion. That's a lot of money.
Rubio says he is deeply troubled by growing divisions in this country between rich and poor, haves and have-nots.
The fundamental principle of America's prosperity, and that is that we have never been a nation of haves and have-nots. We are a nation of haves and soon-to-haves, of people who have made it and people who will make it.
Some of the class distinctions are reflected by the Occupy movement. Some, he says, driven by political leaders.
We are a people that have always celebrated other people's success so long as we always had the opportunity to meet that success ourselves. That is the American nature. That is the American character. That is one of the things that makes us different from the rest of the world. And I'm afraid we could lose that, or are on the verge of losing that, and I'm really concerned that there are those in America's political leadership that are advocating that we abandon that in favor of something else. And I think it's wrong because it doesn't work.
Rubio didn't mention President Obama by name, but clearly was thinking about him. He says the gap between rich, middle class, and poor is made worse by this country's tax code.
So we've got to simplify our tax code. It has to be reformed. If there's stuff in there that's the result of good lobbying instead of good policy, take it out. I hope we'll work on that. Everybody here says they're for tax reform. Let's do it. Let's have some urgency. Let's have some urgency behind that.
Urgency, he says, is what is needed in Congress. Rubio, of course, has been mentioned prominently as a possible vice presidential candidate or running mate. That talk simply will not go away, and you can hear what he says about it this Sunday morning. Senator Rubio will be my guest on This Week in South Florida. You can catch the entire interview right here on Local 10, Sunday morning at 11:30.